Okay.
Okay. Hi Didier, nice to meet you and welcome on our podcast Parlons Arts. I heard that's the French premiere, so are you excited to present the film?
Very exciting, very exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to start with your job on main painter and concept artist. How you can describe this work for a novice in cinema who doesn't understand this work?
Yeah, so concept art is basically when a script comes in, film needs to be visualized. So that's already when you start as a concept artist. So it's usually at pre-production of a film, but also during the pre-production, there's the manufacturing of props or costumes or sets or anything that needs to be visualized. You design it.
Okay.
And that's concept art.
And you work on several production, like recently the new Planet of Apes, Conjuring 2, Rampage, etc. What was the most challenging project and what was the project you prefer?
Well, yeah, all of them have their own challenges, I would say. But it's also the challenges that make it fun for me. It's always feels like a puzzle you need to solve. And I love to solve puzzles since I was a kid. So,
so
I don't know which one to pick.
Okay, so every time it's hard, it's more challenging, and you have to be more creative and find solution, etc.
Yeah, like you're always looking for something iconic, right? For example, for Planet of the Apes, how's the world gonna look like? Yeah, we dove into many iterations first, and then at one point you crack the code, as we call it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we're like, oh no, it's gonna be like this, and then the team moves forward, and then it's going into that direction.
About your first short, Uncario, why you choose to make this project with a man who want to reach a new paradise? He's stuck on this stellar moon, but he want to have a new life and a beautiful life. Why you choose this subject for a first shot?
Well, thanks for watching it. It sounds like you've seen it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. It's a project that's very dear and close to me because I feel with where things are going with our planet, it's not good. So it really comes out of a necessity to what happens if we cannot live on our planet anymore. And we can only live there in our dreams. So then when we are there, it's a nightmare that it's a reality. So that's sort of the feeling I wanted to provoke with the film.
Okay.
And then it became that project.
You create some visual effect on this film, like in the station in the Moonstella with the huge set. That's your creation?
Yes. It was a very small set, done in the garage of one of my best friends, and his wife parked out the car for a month, and we were like, thank you.
Okay.
Now let's build a moon base. Yeah, then we started to do something like in post called set extensions, which is something I can do as well for that I've done for films. And then, you can make it look way bigger. Yeah, but within that, we try to do everything as practical as possible.
Let's talk about Heresy. In original language, it's Witte Wieven.
Yes, that's a good pronunciation.
Okay, thank you. And I made some research on the title of the film that we can translate by White Woman.
Yeah.
What's the origin of this type of myth story?
Yeah, so this myth is I would say, if you draw a big circle around the Netherlands, and that includes a bit of France, I would say, or Germany, or even Ireland, you would have the Banshee and you would have Dame Blanche.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, but this is our version basically of the Dame Blanche. It's a folklore that's Dutch based, and Witte comes from the word witty, which is wise, and Wieven is women. So wise women would be the actual translation. But the confusion comes as well because they're all known to appear when there is low-hanging fog. And it's usually white fog going over the land. And people saw the entities in that, so that's why white, the color of the fog. So it's a bit of overlap for people.
Okay.
But
In the film, you create a lot of creature like witch, like elf, etc. Do you was inspired by a certain folklore or something like that?
Yeah, like we look at a lot of paintings. But we also worked ourselves on our own version, and we went into, how would this creature look like? So it lives in the forest. That's something we wanted to look into, of what are elements from the forest we can borrow into this creature, but it had to look feminine as well. So it's a feminine-looking creature with elements from the forest, such as reindeer elements or the bark from a tree as a
like
skin,
a tree, yes.
and things like that. So it's that got us the idea of sort of our limitations we set for ourselves before we started to design.
I like the sequence when Frieda is possessed because you invoke a lot of VFX. We saw fluids in colors, etc.
Yeah.
What was the idea behind that? It's very original.
Yeah, thank you. It's a transformative moment. I wanted that to be powerful. For me in cinema, when you can express that climactical feel is through music and visuals, and like have the music be leading in that scene, and the visuals we pushed for are also elements from nature, because she's getting the power from Mother Nature, literally. So we used mud and actual paint and clay and things and moss, stuff that would remind us of like things that we know as humans, organic elements. So we did that mostly practical, to be honest, and then a little bit of VFX on top of it to make it surreal. But I always try to push for practical in my movies. Yeah.
So for your next feature, what will be the project? A new genre or something like that? Because the first was maybe a space opera, the second a noir folk. What will be the third?
It will always be dark and creepy. We're going for cosmic horror, if I have to label it now. It might change, but it's something we're working on right now, to have an actual 90-minute long film that takes place in Wisconsin, at a lake, at a cabin. And weird stuff happens there, dark stuff. So
one last question, because I'm a bit curious. What is your favorite film this year? Do you have a preference?
Did The Whale came out this year? Or was that last year?
Oh, Darren Aronofsky?
Yeah, an Aronofsky
last
film.
Year. That's last year.
Okay,
yeah.
So that doesn't count. Give me a couple seconds to think about it, because there's a bunch of films. Dune already came out, right? The Dune Part 2. Was that this year?
Yeah, it was this year.
Dune,
okay.
Of course, yeah. That was amazing.
Okay.
I went a lot to the cinema for that film. 4 times maybe. That's really great.
Thank you, Didier. That was a pleasure to have you in our podcast.
Likewise, thank you for having me.
Hope you enjoy your experience in PIFFF Festival, and the crowd will be receptive with your work and your future next feature.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you.